Marlo, do you think that money can blindside people in their relationships after a breakup?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you look at this, he's not saying, I want to remarry Wendy. He's saying, I want y'all to overturn this rule and look at her financials again so I can re-divorce her. That's so crazy. That is beyond crazy. But it also is what people sometimes set up in their lives, right? I definitely sympathize with Wendy. But I think that just by the way that Kevin is acting, the way that she spoke about Kevin when she was well, she's created a sense of entitlement in this man, right? There are times when they were happy that she would say, we built this, right? There's Charlemagne has old interviews that he's done where he and Kevin bumped heads because of the amount of power that Wendy was giving Kevin on the morning show or the radio show that Charlemagne was co-hosting. So I just think, Kevin, respectfully, you are a turd. That's what I got to say about it.
And he had a video that came out and he was like, I just need y'all to respectfully stay out of my business. And if you have anything wrong to say, you need to stay out of it. Listen, a lot of Black people said it's illegal to hide money in a divorce. Yeah, it is. If she were a man, ladies would be applauding. Hey, wait a minute. Do you think this is a case of if the shoe was on the other foot, Athena?
Definitely not. So what I would want to say about this Wendy's divorce situation is this is a classic case of why you should never marry down and date no dusty man, ladies, because this is a situation to where even with this settlement, he could not make it survive with him and his side woman and side baby that he had on her, that he has to come back now to try to get a divorce so he can nullify the divorce so he can get more money. First of all, he is trying to claim that an affidavit that was submitted by her best friend of a certain dollar amount is the reason why he was financially defrauded. What I understand about these high-profile divorces is that they usually have forensic accountants and different people looking over all the legalities of things. Wendy may have said, oh, I have 55 million, whatever. Wendy was not in her full state of mind to understand her financial situation anyway. She may have thought that she had that money, but after the managers, the lawyers, and all the people that she had to pay, it may have come down to that 7 million for real. So that's the first thing I want to say about this situation.
Well, that's very interesting that you brought that up because we do want to talk about her mental capacity. First of all, I have a whole issue with her friend even coming out saying anything to anybody. That should have been private information. I think that she overstepped her bounds. She might not have meant harm, but what she did is she caused harm. But let's discuss some of the health issues that Wendy has. Now, we know that Wendy was on her show and she passed out. This was at the beginning when people were already questioning if she was okay. But this is the day that she actually came out on her show, started to talk, her monologue, completely went into a freeze zone and passed out. So, you could tell that there was something wrong. So she couldn't process information and she began to lose her words and she was erratic. And the people were also saying that she was, taking drugs and of that nature. But she was diagnosed with asphyxia and dementia. Now, asphyxia is what Bruce Willis has. And we all know what Bruce Willis is doing because their family has been very transparent. So she was diagnosed with that in 2023. And that's primary progressive asphyxia and frontotemporal dementia. Very familiar with dementia. It's a condition affecting language and communication abilities, and frontotemporal dementia, a progressive disorder impacting behavior and cognitive functions, have already presented significant hurdles in Wendy's life. So she already has that. And so therefore someone has to come in and kind of help guide her. I don't know, everybody here seen the documentary about her? You can see even she was having those problems. So we have a whole ramification of what's going on in her life. And now people are trying to step in and control how her life is going to look. But Kevin Hunter was a major part of Wendy's career as a manager. So, Joe, do you think that how does this fame and financial success play into the power dynamics of their relationship?
Well, money and fame makes you more of what you already are. So I mean, both of these people, like I want to go back and say, like, two things can be true. Like, what he's doing may be considered, dusty behavior, but also on the reverse side of that, if the roles were reversed, yeah, they would be trying to hunt, the man down and crucify him. So, like it is,
I
it
mean, Joe,
is.
that's good, but I've never seen a woman try to remarry a man for some alimony now. Like this
Or
is groundbreaking.
can you say for certain it's never happened?
Not
Okay,
that we
that's all.
know of, but you have to say
All
that
right,
it's
right.
absolutely rare.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm not saying what he's doing is great, but I'm saying if the roles were reversed and if a woman did try to do that, she would be applauded for trying to go back and get her money. And that y'all know that to be true. That would be it would be a total hypocrisy on all of it. You know what I mean? It's a double standard in a lot of different ways. And let's just say, call it what it is. Both versions of it is dusty, no matter what the genders are. It's just dusty. To go back and try to remarry somebody for financial purposes. And so I'm
I
just going
agree.
back to what Athena said. Like, it wouldn't be looked that way if the roles were reversed, and that's just cap. It definitely would be looked
Well,
differently.
you got someone that agrees with you, Joe. Big Mac says if the roles were reversed, y'all would be looking for the man with pitchforks and torches. All right, Athena, I'm
Right.
gonna need you. Do you agree with Big Mac? I mean, you just said no, but would we?
See, Big Mac, this is why we can never be together. Because when these issues come up, we on the wrong side of the issues. This is why we can't be together. So no, if the roles were reversed, I think people would still be looking at the woman crazy, because it's no one has ever, to my knowledge, no one's ever done this to go as far as, okay, I want the divorce thrown out, so now I can come back and claim some money that may not even be there after the documentary, because it seemed like the money was like the well was drying up from then, right? What I also want to say about this situation with Kelvin, right? Because his real name is Kelvin with an L, right? Kevin is his nickname. So that's how much of a fraud this man is. Does this man deserve to come back and get this money? You went and had a side baby on her. You were a big part of her mental decline, all the stress you put on her, right? And you and your little side chick and your little side baby that you had on her, right? It was bad enough she allowed you to have a side chick, but the straw on the camel's back was when you had that little side baby, right? She afforded you an opportunity to pay a check, and you couldn't even throw that in the markets or make that money work for you, to now that you have to come back, right? Come back to try to remarry her or to have the divorce so you can get money that may or may not even be there. Right? When I was discussing, people are posting things in the chat about how Wendy said he was his biggest supporter and all this other stuff. Y'all need to understand that a lot of women out here are lying and putting on shows for you so they don't look embarrassed about the type of man that they do have, right? Wendy built her success. Yes, Kelvin, I think, provided some kind of emotional needs. If you watch her documentary, she grew up with eating disorders, all kind of mental issues. She was looking for love. That was an easy man to find, and he obviously exploited that situation, right? He did not have any high education. He was just a random street dude that filled the role at the time. So you guys need to also understand that women put on fronts all the time so they're not embarrassed, because she was pulled up on her show multiple times when she was talking crap about other people, and they checked her about her own husband.
And on that note, because that's a whole nother different topic, and boy, this is getting deep. We'll be right back, y'all, because we got a lot to unpack.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, Now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens, that's Queens, that's Queens, to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
Boom, boom. Make sure you do that. If you're not doing it right now, that's your homework. Queens to 87948. All right, let's get back into it, because you know what? This is down and dirty. It's just down and dirty and crazy. I want to address something. I want to, because listen, Athena did say that Kevin or Clevin or whatever his name is, as has gone out and done things on the side, got a side chick, got the side baby. So, Marlo, do you think he is taking advantage of Wendy's current state and mental state to make these demands?
Yeah, I think that, and then one thing that we're not thinking about is Wendy's cost of care, right? So let's just say that she does have this $48 million lingering, right? She needs to have, it's at some point from the documentary, she needs somebody around the clock now. But at some point, she's going to need round the clock health care. She's going to need somebody there with her to help her. There are times when Wendy can't stand up. The FTP, I guess, is what causes her leg swelling at the base and in the calf of her legs. The long-term care, and she does not have the potential to make money anymore. Let's think about that. There's no more production coming from Wendy Williams, right? So whatever she has coming in residually is all she's ever going to have, plus whatever she may have in the bank. But there's a long-term care issue, and I think that it's so heartless for him to be like, oh, I heard I was scammed in the divorce and there's some extra money lingering, so we need to undivorce so we could re-divorce. It's like, man, if you don't go get a MFing job and leave this lady alone and let her go care for herself and hopefully add some longevity to her life so that her legitimate child that she had with you can enjoy time with his mother while you, your side chick, the baby, and all of y'all that was living down the street from Wendy, because let's not forget, Kevin moved them around the corner from his home with Wendy. So maybe y'all can go and work that out. Maybe whatever you did to build Wendy, sir, maybe you could go build it in old girl and let Wendy live for as long as she has. I think it is crazy for him to be coming back knowing the cost of healthcare for the problems, the chronic, lifelong problems that this lady is about to be living with. It is bananas to me.
You know what's crazy? It's interesting that you mentioned the insurance, because one of the things that he keeps saying is he can no longer afford the cost of health care. Well, bro, I'm gonna need you to see that you probably had a lot to do with what was going on with Wendy too. I believe, honestly, this is my personal opinion, and I firmly stand rooted in it. A lot of the times when we go through stress, when we go through pain, when we go through hurt, if we don't get help for it, if we don't talk about it, if we don't go to therapy about it, it can turn into something detrimental in your body. And I think that this also put more stress on her. My next thing is my man, is my man going to move him in her house next? Right? I mean, because that's what it seems like. Do you think this is absolutely wild that he's got this other family. Now he wants to reverse this. What is this supposed to look like when he's got a family already and moved on? What is Wendy supposed to do? Where is her place in this besides being the cash cow?
You threw that to me. Let me answer
I
this real
so
quick.
did.
So, first of all, let's talk about when relationships are forming, right? And then I'm gonna ask you all a question. When relationships are forming and it gets to this stage, and then men start changing, is it because they just change, or was there a lot of red flags that were ignored, and now it's all coming to fruition? Because I heard all that stuff. That I agree with everything Marlo said. I heard all that stuff Athena said, and I'm thinking to myself, if there was all of this evidence presenting itself, why did she pick this man? Why did she pick this man? So there's that. Does Wendy hold some accountability in all the things that are happening to her right now? But also, divorcing somebody and trying to come back is wild. So I'm with everything that Marlo said. Now, I said all that because that was on my mind. Now, what did you ask me again? I'm sorry.
What is Wendy's role supposed to be if this is granted and his divorce is reversed when he has a full-fledged extra family right here? What is her role besides being a cash cow?
Yeah, after the divorce is final, like all bets are off. But like I said, in the midst of all of this, like I'm looking at this dude and I'm wondering he couldn't have morphed into this. He had to be this dude in the beginning. So like, what benefit did him being the way that he was? How did it benefit Wendy's life? And that's me really wondering. And that was the questions that I would be asking. And if I was like counseling them, I would, spend some time with Wendy to try to understand what did you ignore in the beginning that is now coming back to bite you. That's that's
Right,
that's
right.
that's my question.
Well, then, Athena, you are a pop culture queen, and so you know a little bit about his history. Can you kind of explain a little bit of his past?
Okay, so from what I understand, Kelvin is from some kind of hood ratchet place in New York. He was some hood dude that she basically picked off on the street like a little street urchin. Okay. And she had him, especially during a time where she was vulnerable because, Diddy was looking for her and all this other stuff. So this is who that she went for. She didn't feel confident as a woman to stand in her power and to pick a man that would love and respect her in a certain way. Because there also have been rumors from multiple sources, even from Bravo, from Andy from Bravo, saying that as her manager, he was very difficult and controlling and not causing her to actually lose money, right? This was not a man that had any kind of business acumen. This was not a man that was even a good quality man, right? But for whatever reason, she had childhood issues and trauma. If you actually watched any of her documentaries, you would see she discussed the heavy critique that she got from her parents, from her being fat, from her being, I think, bulimic or some kind of eating disorder. She did drugs. This was not a woman that reflected high self-esteem. And to be honest with you, most women, I feel like self-esteem is on the floor. And the reason that happens is because society, our experiences with dusty ass men like Kelvin and all these other things drag women down and kind of gaslight us into accepting street urchins like Kelvin, right? Or accepting situations to where you can have a baby on me and move this hoe down the street and I will still be with you, right? So this is not anybody that we should model after. And a lot of successful women have this issue. When they're more successful than the men can't take it. And they do all this crazy stuff. Who is Sharina? She was a massage therapist. She met Kelvin through Charlemagne in passing. Now, Charlemagne didn't directly hook them up, but in passing, that's how they met, right? He picked a woman of lower status than Wendy that was younger and more attractive so he can feel important, so he can feel like he's doing something. And then she stayed around because he was tricking off Wendy's money on her, right? Up until now, since the money dried up, there's rumors that there's issues with that situation, right? Because he was never the entrepreneur or the boss or the man like that making the big deals. Wendy was a talent. Wendy was the money. Wendy was a business. Because if that was the case, if he made Wendy, he could have made her again. He could have turned Sharina into what Wendy was.
Yeah. I needed you to do that. But listen, okay, I'm going to tell y'all something. Maybe some of y'all might be shocked. I don't care for Wendy. I never have cared for Wendy. I never watched the shows because I never listened to her on the radio. I don't like that kind of drama. I don't like that kind of energy in my life. And a lot of the times I feel like law of attraction, what goes around comes around. What goes around will come around, will come around, right? So, Marlo, do you think that this is a case of what goes around comes around?
I'm going to be honest with you guys because y'all are family. I don't create this type of content and I am not wealthy. So there you have it. And I refuse to delve in other people's misery. And I also did not really watch Wendy. Every now and then it'd be on. I do that. How you do it? And then I move on, right? But I think that Wendy we cannot ignore the fact that she spent her entire career tearing down other people, right? And like Athena said, there's a facade that women put up, especially successful women that are with sea urchins, right? Those women have an identity to protect. You see Wendy, she got the wig popping, honey, makeup doing a thing, always with the fly shoes, always dressed to the nines. And then she going in the back to Kevin, who don't want to take a L, Calvin, and probably being berated and beat down. It's no telling what was going on between them. But I'll go back to my first statement, which is Charlemagne saying that is Kelvin, Mr. Williams, was the reason that he and Wendy parted ways. And he actually tried to make it hard for Charlemagne to move on, dropping little nuggets about Charlemagne to other people in the industry. So I think that you cannot ignore the fact that this lady has spent her entire career dabbling in dirt. So you can't be surprised when the dirt gets on you and when you bring the dirt home in your pockets and you put it in your bed and all the other places, right? So I think my granny used to say the world is round for a reason. And as you said, Lala, what goes around comes around. And even though I'm really sad about Wendy's health condition, because nobody deserves that, even the dementia is a little bit self-inflicted, because her son said in the documentary that the dementia is a direct correlation to her drinking, which she still was trying to do throughout the documentary, right? So I think that this is what we're watching: a woman who was not cared for, a woman who was a cash cow, a woman who was everything to everybody and didn't have anybody. And I feel like as much as I want to really be super sympathetic to her, it's kind of hard, because you made your bed and now you ain't even got a bed, because Calvin with the L, with the not an L, is trying to sell it. So sorry, Wendy. That's all I got.
I agree. And that's a good place for us to take a deep breath, because I need to sip some tea. Because this is crazy. We'll be right back.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
I love it. Go on over there to that website, because you know what? Maybe if Wendy would have looked at our stuff, she might have been in a better position with her money. So go on over there and check that out, because we got free resources. We may not be celebrities, but we can help you build your wealth. Got a lot of stuff over there. flynubianmoney.com. I want to go to this next video because we get a little bit deeper with it. So let's see what this next one has to say.
And if you recall, just last week, Wendy Williams' ex-husband filed a motion with the court demanding that Wendy attend the divorce court hearing in person. During that hearing, the judge heard everything that Mr. Hunter had to say in regards to Ms. Morrissey possibly not being able to represent Wendy Williams in New Jersey, being that she is a New York-based attorney. During that same hearing, the judge gave Ms. Morrissey 21 days to prove to the court that she has the authority to represent Wendy in New Jersey. Wendy was just able to talk about Diddy without any problems. This lady is not as far gone as many people will want to think she is, and I believe that Kelvin is trying to get her to come to court so she can speak to a judge and let a judge know, or someone in a higher position know, what has been going on with her. And not in New York. New York is where the guardianship was given to Sabrina anyway, and they said a lot of those judges was crooked when it came to those guardians, just so they could get the vote. I believe that Kelvin feels like, just like many of you, if Sabrina continues this guardianship of Wendy, all of the money is going to be gone. There's not going to be anything left. I believe Kelvin feels like desperate times calls for desperate measures, and he is trying any way possible to get Sabrina out of the picture. Now, should we trust him? Hell to the no. To the no, no, no. But can we trust Sabrina? It seems like Kelvin is trying to make this divorce null and void to push Sabrina out of the picture, because if she's draining funds, nobody's going to have anything.
Right. So I feel like this is the case of, if I can't have it, you can't have it either. And we better kick out the person who's going to drain you all. But I want to address something that is also very important, because I did not like the fact that she was saying This lady's not as crazy as you think that she is. First of all, dementia and these types of issues is not you being crazy. It is a real thing. I have lived it. I have been with people who I love very much, and their personalities can go 40 different ways. And here's another thing. They can pick and choose what to fixate on. They may, like they said, she talked about Diddy. Well, see, this is something she's talked about all of her life. Her brain clicks when that happens. So let's not get it twisted that this is something that she's pretending to do. You don't pretend this. You don't want to wish this on your worst enemy. But we did talk about, Kevin coming in and saying he wanted Wendy to come in and talk directly and kind of get rid of this chick. So Athena, with money being a driving force in the celebrities breakup, do you think that he's entitled to Wendy's wealth after he claims that he's had a role in building her wealth?
No. And I'm going to tell you why. Kelvin, with an L, came into the scene where Wendy was already established. She was already on radio. She was already doing a lot of things. So I don't know what part of the building part did he really come in, right? And what part of him was he really managing money? Because a lot of these situations where you have a husband manager or husbander, which I highly advise against. Your man needs to have his own job or career where he can do him and not dependent on eating off of you. But in a lot of those situations, it's just like a titular role or something the women do so the man don't feel so bad that he ain't got nothing going on, right? Same thing with LaToya Luckett's husband. The same thing with, Mary J. Blige ex-husband. Like, we could just run down the list. This is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun about this particular situation, right? That Debmar Mercury contract that she had for that talk show was already in the works. He's not some mastermind businessman genius. This guy is not even college educated. She picked him off the street like a street urchin. So we should not, Kelvin should not be entitled to anything that he has already gotten. Now, I can understand if there was a divorce situation and he got absolutely nothing. I would not think that was fair. The divorce already happened. He already got his paid out. He already got sold a house that he had the side chick moved down the street with, relocated to Florida, living off, tricking off money. Now, if you have bad money management because you never had to do it before, then that's a whole nother situation. But to come and try to exploit a woman that is on a health decline because you and your baby mama, your little side baby, running out of money to finance a lifestyle, get a job or a career, right? Sharina having these little pop-up business, trying to sell clothes, trying to sell pancakes, trying to sell whatever. Obviously, she was not that good as an entrepreneur anyway. She needed to go back to rubbing people's backs, because that's probably how she got Kelvin, and start getting some income that way. Like, these are just two grown-ass people that's just not trying to work.
So she need to sell that Lamborghini that he bought her, in other words. Go and put that money in the bank and stop trying to drive on it, right?
Right.
Sleazy Skeezy says women can have a prenuptial and divorce a man like Tyrese and Jeezy and fight the prenuptial and force the man to spend all of his resources in court. Joe, this seems like this is going to be a question for you. So how do you draw the line between business and personal finances in marriage? And should they have had a prenup? Why do you think Wendy didn't have one?
I don't think that you become, going back to some of the stuff that Marla was saying, like the energy that Wendy puts out. I don't think you become Wendy Williams like overnight. I mean, that the whole source of her energy, I believe, comes from a place of hurt, right? So she's had her own experience, and it's her responsibility to deal with whatever hurts and traumas that she's had in the past and work on her own healing. So I'm not, making Kelvin or Cleveland or anybody responsible for, that. But, when he comes in and the energy that she puts out attracts him, then that's on them. Now we want to talk about separating money and business. Again, that's on them. That is totally on them. That is totally on Wendy. I'm going to say it again. Neither one of these people morphed into what they became overnight. They both looked at each other, accepted each other for whoever they were, and kept it moving. Yes, obviously, you can talk to smarter women who have done better about separating their finances from their marriage and not incorporating their spouses in their business. But then you could probably talk to a bunch of people who have done that and have been successful with that. You know, it's not about it's not a come down to should they do it. It's just a coming down to who are they? Who are you? You know, should I incorporate Cleveland in my business? Not my husband, Cleveland. Just because he's Cleveland, maybe I should separate that. But she didn't. And now she's, you know, unfortunately having to deal with the consequences of her own choices.
Okay, well, then that leads me to ask a question to our viewership family, because there is lots of comments I haven't even touched yet that I absolutely love, and we will talk about those as well later. But family, viewership family, do you think that she should have had a prenup? Because this obviously is going on without one, and it was never brought up at all. So I don't know. I want to pull up some stats for us because there's some very interesting information about these stats. And I am not seeing anything. Am I frozen? Oh boy. Oh, am I frozen? I think I'm frozen.
I can see it.
You can see it.
Okay. 2019 report from the Institute of Divorce Financial Analysts showed that financial issues cause 22% of divorces. And as a marriage counselor, I can support that. According to the 2021 survey, 44% of married couples reported that money is the primary source of conflict in their relationship. And in the entertainment world, a study found that 62% of celebrity marriages end in divorce, often exacerbated by financial complications and fame. So
listen, so you know that makes sense, like you said, Joe, because finance, as a women's wealth coach, I think a lot of women don't understand that finances is a big factor when it comes to the success of your marriage, and especially within Black relationships. We are often faced with more financial strain due to historical and systemic financial situations, and also the earning potential of our community. But we will get right back to that as we go to our next commercial.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and review so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now, back to the show.
So, Joe, you are a licensed therapist. You are not a YouTube armchair therapist like these dating coaches and all these people are on here talking about, honey. We have the real deal. You see the little degrees and letters behind his name, his face. So, Joe, I know you must counsel a lot of couples in regard to finances. What insights can you provide us about the importance of finances in relationships?
So to kind of answer the question about is prenup a good idea? Whatever you can do to organize your finances as a couple and not make that an issue, you should do that. A lot of people avoid having the conversations around finances. And I can tell you right now, in couple sessions, it always is going to come back to haunt you or bite you if you don't deal with it. And it's not a gender thing. You know what I mean? Like women do this, men do this. Everybody should have the conversation about how you want to organize and manage your finances. What are your future goals? Well, what are your aspirations? What is your vision financially for yourself and for your marriage? Having these conversations early is critical. It is critical. I cannot stress that enough. I have been in hundreds of couple sessions where people are avoidant of talking about finances, and when they do, you can see the tensions rise and the tempers flare, because they haven't had these conversations. But if it's somewhere documented that this is what it is and it's on paper, then that's one less thing that y'all have to worry about as a couple. And y'all can just enjoy each other or argue about something else.
Right. And I think that is so important to discuss. Even in the dating process, I discuss financial things with men. Do you recommend that as you're dating to have those financial conversations, Joe?
Say it one more time. I missed it.
How soon should people have these financial conversations?
Yeah,
Is
well
it the
before you
dating
get married.
process? Is it we're officially together? Like, when should we have these conversations?
When you decide, I believe, when you decide to say or ask someone to marry you and you agree to join into that situation, or if y'all are just not even going to get married, but y'all decided to share your lives together. Once you start integrating assets and things like that, you got to talk. You got to talk. So if I can't leave you and you take your stuff and I take my stuff, if I can't do that without any type of documentation or legal involvement, then we should be having some type of conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I've definitely had this conversation, but in dating, I feel like even in the dating part, you need to have this conversation because you need to be clear about what things are even going to look like from then. Marlo, we have discussed finances and couples, but even if we look in the Black community in these YouTube streets, there's been these debates about 50-50 and bills and who paying what. Like, is this situation from Wendy just remind us how important it is to be on the same page financially?
I think it absolutely reminds us of that, but I think that there's something else at play that we're not talking about and that many people don't see outside of the entertainment industry, which is the power dynamic, right? There's a lot of times that Wendy, and I just know this having gone into meetings and different things, there's a lot of spaces that Kevin wasn't invited into as her manager, right? There's a lot of places that even being her husband didn't gain her access to. There's a lot of times when you go, you're doing red carpet, you go into events and things like that, you're going to get separated. They're going to take the star to go do star things, and then you got to go take that lonely walk by yourself, husband, manager, whatever. You just got to go skedaddle and do your thing. And I think that when we talk about the embarrassment that he put upon her with the baby and the baby mama and around the corner and the down the street and the Lamborghini with the Wendy money and all the things, right? There is also, like Joe said, these are two broken people they connected like magnets, and they found each other and they came together, and whatever about, Diddy and this and that and the conservatorship, Kevin is, he's not a sympathetic character. So before even before I misspeak, I just want to say that in the entertainment industry, because I was looking at that stat and how it's money, financial issues, but also the fame causes a huge strain on relationships because one person's star is shining bright and another person is sitting in the corner waiting for them to come over there. Sometimes that separation may be 45 minutes, an hour, 2-3 hours. You go home, you mad, and that person is coming in about to tell you about the amazing time they had tonight, but you left early because you couldn't be bothered because you got sat on the stoop and left for nobody. People bring you they keys and they coats and all this other stuff thinking you to help. So I think that there's a huge power dynamic that people don't understand in these mixed match fame relationships. And unless everybody is grounded, Kevin is probably starting a new wave. He probably is starting a new wave of angry men, chewing on those sour grapes, trying to figure out a way to come up.
But he's definitely going to start a new trend, I believe. And I'd like to know, what gave him this idea to do that outside of money. He's saying that this so-called guardian is like taking all the money and she's not even licensed in that state. So, I mean, a part of that is all about the money. I have not, has anybody heard him say that he cares and loves Wendy? No, every single thing that he says is money. And look at this, check this out. ex-husband says he's broke and facing foreclosure. I've fallen behind on most of my bills. Let's not forget, y'all, Wendy had to just sell her dream home too at a loss. So where is all this money going? Is people being financially completely irresponsible? Even her son has lost money. And to me, I feel like Wendy is being like the vampires are all sucking her blood, her financial blood, and no one is really caring about her life and what she's going through. But I still say that it's also tied to the drama that she put out in the world. We got another queen who decided she wants to jump on in here because she got a lot to say. Constance, what you got to say, Constance?
I was all in the comments. I was listening to Athena give them hell. Y'all over here giving them hell, honey. But listen, this Negro just needs to do one thing, and that's get a job. Period. I'm so tired of these raggedy ass men that are just bloodthirsty, taking money. I understand as being a woman that was a breadwinner and you taking care of, you financially supporting a man, and then you try to give them everything. It's not enough. And then they think that they made you, they built you. And that's what I was told. I built you. You owe me for the rest of your life because I built you. Everything that you make, everything that you do, I should have a piece of that. And I'm like, okay, if you did all that, build the next bitch. Build the next bitch. He can't.
Well, this ain't build a bitch.
This ain't build a bitch.
This ain't build a bitch.
Well, I mean, like for a man, I remember a pastor told us, the pastor told her, we had to sit down with the pastor. The pastor said, look, Constance, this is your fault. You know why? Because you spoiled the nigga. He didn't say the nigga. He said, but you spoiled him. And then he said to him, but a woman, you are a man. She should not be taking care of two households. As a man, you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And so for a man to sit there to be begging and trying to get this woman's money, knowing that she's sick, knowing that she got dementia. And just like you said, he didn't say nowhere in there that he loved her. He said he was broke. He still got his family. He want her to take care of him and his family and his fuck.
Like, listen, in my opinion, he'll have Wendy in the back room somewhere and the kid and the side piece running around in the front. That's just how I feel. Which, okay, so when someone's career outshines their partners, can it create the resentment and the control issues? Is this like I said, no, he sees her as a cash cow. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. But at some point, don't you think that he has resentment that she has more than he does? Is this an ego problem, Joe?
I mean, yeah, it's probably an ego problem. I'm not going to front on that. But I will ask this question, though. If as frustrated as you are with this man who's doing this, do you have the same equal frustration for the women who do this time and time again?
I had to give you hell, Joe. I mean, it was fair is fair, right?
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Everybody got to make their own, and I'm one to tell all my kids, don't ever be in a position where you are 100% dependent upon nobody because you don't know what can happen. And so this is just a case where you need to get your life together. If he's sitting up in the meetings, he saw all the things happening. He laid next to her for I don't know how many years. He got game, but see, he burned so many bridges. He broke so many relationships. He can't go in those doors that he once was in because he fucked everything off. So this is his fault.
Listen, the type of signs that this man shows of insecurity are glaring, right? So to be already insecure and to sit back and watch this woman become this giant, it was bound to be unsuccessful. It was bound to fail. So yeah, there's ego that's involved in what he's doing.
And I think it's bound to fail if he doesn't have his own, right? So if you just sitting there and you're depending on her and you're not building something yourself, yes, it's bound to fail. But he should have been working on his stuff at the same time.
He made it seem, and you see the structure of what they do, like he was helping her build this. I mean, that's the image that was.
And he got paid handsomely for it. You shouldn't have ran out of money.
Yeah,
I got to address this one because Big Mac, I don't know why you being on my bad side today, Big Mac. He said, why y'all beating the man down like he's trying to steal something?
Because he is trying to steal something.
Exactly what
he's trying to come back and try to collect what is not there. You saw the documentary. There ain't no money there. If there was money,
Joe, you're the only person who didn't say something. All of us women said, then you said,
Joe. Oh no! Listen, no. Listen. all of this is crazy. But all of this is crazy. The only problems I'm having is when we trying to make it a gender thing. That's only this is crazy no matter who's
You
doing
made
it.
it a gender thing.
I did not.
You just said, would it be the same thing if it was a woman doing that?
I'm just responding to what Athena was saying earlier. I'm responding to what you're saying now because you said why. You literally said, why do raggedy ass men?
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
That does go to gender, right? Because if we talk about, what a man's role is, a man is to protect, to provide. I believe a man should be a protector, provider, security for his family, for his household. And if he's not, then what is he good for?
No, I don't have a problem with you feeling that way. But if you feel that way, then you have to fall into the stereotypical gender roles for a woman as well. Like everything has to fall into place. You can't just, have it halfway this way, halfway that way.
On her knees, Joe. That's the
Wait, what'd you say?
You tell me. So if a man is doing all of those things,
this is what happens. And going back to the episode we did last Friday, ladies, this is why you stay on level 8. So you don't have no street urchin on level 1 trying to bother you. This is why you're supposed to do that to avoid these type of problems. See, Joe,
but it's not only that, y'all. People are not asking the right questions before you get into a relationship. People are so interested in hooking up so fast before they even know who the person is. Sit down and talk to them about their past. You to ask the hard damn questions.
Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that.
No, and this is why everybody's living the same drama as Wendy.
There's a step before that, before you ask the questions of the person you're going. You have to ask these questions of yourself and know who you are before you can step into a relationship and try to be a part of something. And that's the part that a lot of people aren't doing. You're totally unaware of who you are as a person, and you're stepping into these spaces and you're just ignoring things. And then you don't even know what questions to ask because you're just trying to fulfill an immediate need. And you miss out. You miss out on what you actually need.
Well, look, my mama always said, a closed mouth never gets fed. If I'm not asking you the right questions, how am I going to know if you're going to be a part of my table? And that's the problem. We're all into this, but let's see, Wendy was so desperate and wanted someone in her circle that she went through hell and back to take on someone who didn't have her best interest, who has shown the fact that he doesn't have her best interest and still doesn't care that she's sick. Never said anything about how much he cared for Wendy. That's a problem. So listen, as y'all can see, right? We are in a very thick and hot topic. And we have a lot of people who are in here, got their own opinions. We got a ton of people watching. So if you want to get your brand in front of millions, you need to advertise with us on Fly Nubian Money. We go live 5 days a week and we get all this smoke 5 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now listen, we have a huge reach. We have an audience that is engaged, just like you are. We have an intelligent audience, and that just like you are. So this is your chance to connect with potential clients who are eager to learn about your business. Don't miss this opportunity. All you got to do is email us at info@reelvirtual.net. That's info@reelvirtual.net. And put Fly Nubian Money ad in the subject line, and we will send you our ad rates. Now, listen, you want to be involved in this. You want your name on all this bling, bling, shiny queen, right? You want a part of this crown. So make sure you send that information in and we can help you build your business. And let's just jump back in. Now, listen, I don't call people dusty much. I try to stay out of people's business. But I feel like this man was a leech from the very start. So what do we do to protect ourselves? Now, listen, Constance, I'm throwing this to you because you and I both know that it's more than just money. It's assets. And this woman didn't protect her assets. What does she need to do to protect her assets? What should she have done?
I mean, it's sad because hindsight is always 20/20, right? You don't know when you're in love, and she was on the climb. She was climbing up, and he was there, and he was adding value to her. So she probably thought they was going to be together forever. We know, and I was listening to you, Dr. Joe. You said, why? go back to what she didn't see before. But at this point, we can't even really do that because now we're way past that. And now we're at a place where we're in dire straits. So I don't know what she can do to protect her assets because it seems like everybody's a leech. It's not just her. What about her guardian? What's going on with
Yeah.
that? All the people
Yeah.
that are taking it, they're on the take, and then she's not in the right mental capacity. So, like, what's happening? They said she has what, $54 million, but how much is she gonna have when it's all said and done? So there's so many variables, and you have her son. What's going on with him? Little Kelvin, or what you call him, Cleveland?
Clever.
Whatever his name is.
Kelvin.
It's Kelvin.
Kelvin.
It's Kelvin. So I don't know what she could do at this point. And this goes to show, like, even when we're young and we're thinking that we're going to be with somebody forever, having some kind of understanding is important. Even if you just put something in writing, but it's hard because you're thinking, no, we in this together. Like, it's us against the world. We building together, but then one person may just take off and the other one may be stagnant. You just don't know. So what do? You don't get married before your prefrontal cortex is developed, like I did. You be a little bit older. There's just, I would say that if I could do it again, I probably would wait a little bit and be a little bit more established. What would I do now as a grown ass, damn near 50-year-old woman? I certainly wouldn't get married without a prenup.
Exactly. But listen, I got married very young too, but we made the decision to talk about the difficult things before we signed that paper. And that was very important for us to know that we were going to grow together and that it's okay to grow together. But we didn't have anything beforehand. We had a half a packet of ramen noodles. I'm just trying to say, and that was mine is mine and yours is yours. Can I have a bite, please? And, we had those difficult conversations. But listen, Deborah Will says, since Wendy Williams is a brand, she could have had a living trust and that protected her from conservatorship if you can't handle your own affairs. Listen, our wealth person here, Athena, what is your theory on why she didn't do that?
Well, I think Wendy thought that she was going to be in that situation forever. And honestly, like, a lot of women do that. And obviously, having these conversations around finances can be a very tough and difficult thing to have, especially when there is such a disparity in wealth between two individuals. So a lot of people avoid that conversation in fear that the wedding or the relationship might not happen should you not have these conversations. Whether or not you are a man or a woman, I do think earlier on in the courtship that these conversations need to be had. I remember dating different individuals, and we would have the conversation around paying bills or how that whole thing would happen, even before getting into a relationship. Now, some of the dudes I don't left behind now because that was not a situation I was going to sign up for, how we did not align financially, right? Some of them we financially aligned, but they lacked character, right? So when you're dating, you have to look at the financial piece, but also look at the character piece, which is something I think Wendy also didn't do, right? It's not like Kelvin was this esteemed citizen in New York doing all these things. He was a hood ninja, a street urchin. Like, he did not display character of a man that was going to be loving, supportive, and all these other things. Even in the documentary with Wendy, she always referred to him like she like a street. She like, she liked the image, she liked the energy, she liked the swag. But Black people, we cannot be choosing people off of swag and looks alone. That is our problem. Okay.
What's wrong with swag and looks? Damn, y'all be hard on the swag and
looks. Got you on the mental decline like Wendy. That's what swag.
No, but seriously, you don't know what they gonna end up doing. You could get the nerd ninja that you thought this was gonna be cool, and you just don't know. I just need to carry around
because I would never thought that Nick Cannon that married Mariah Carey is the Nick Cannon that we see today with 8 baby mamas or whatever. So it is a shot in the dark, but obviously you want to prime yourself for the best type of success. You want to put yourself the best foot forward.
Listen, I just hope that when my time comes that, I have someone who actually says they love me and they really care about me, because I mean that to them. That is what hurts my heart more than anything. No, I don't like Wendy. I never have, but I also don't want to see someone being hurt and fought over for the wrong reasons. So on that note, I'm going to ask for everyone's final thoughts and where we can find you, because we could go on for 40 different days and 40 different nights on this one. I'm going to start with you, Joe. What are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Well, my final thought is this. Going back to something that Lala said about, Cleveland being dusty from the start, and then following it up with what Constance said about, well, we at a point now where we can't do nothing about it. And both are exactly right. You know, people are who they are in the beginning, and people do have the ability to change, and you have to work on that change. But if you ignore it, then it's never going to be any different than what it is right now. So and you do reach a point where there's nothing that can be done, like where we're at right now. There's nothing that can be done. So each person involved, when you're in a situation when relationships go sour, each person involved has to then work on themselves as an individual and move towards their own individual peace. If the relationship is cooked, it's cooked. But before you get to the space where it's cooked, have these conversations early. Don't be afraid. Don't avoid conversations. Anything that makes you uncomfortable with inside of a relationship, you need to push that button and have that conversation. And then you can avoid going down the line and being in a situation like this one right here. It is avoidable. And there are plenty of marriages that have these conversations early, get the legal and financial situations straight so it's not an issue. It works out. And you can find me at my website, realuconsulting.com. I'm seeing clients worldwide. If you need a therapy session, if you need somebody to jump on your podcast or do some public speaking for you, I'm right here all the time.
And he said worldwide. He didn't say from coast to coast. He said worldwide. Go ahead and hit him up. You got a partner in Joe. Poor Joe. I'm sorry. I feel like we beat you up today, Joe.
You did not.
But we're so grateful to have you. Constance, you jumped in a little late, but you got a lot to say, sis. So what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Listen, it's very hard. I'm single. Right. And I was married 132 years, and it's really tough to try to gauge. And that's why I always say wait before you lay, because stigmatization is a real thing. You can really get caught up in some stuff. And trust me, it is so hard. It is so hard being out here and being single and having needs, but you never know what you can run into and what can get you caught up, because them red flags be looking like Six Flags when you feeling a Negro. So I just say, just wait. If you got a rose, handle your business and just try to just be, just learn the person before you lay down with them, because you can ruin your whole life. Just like Wendy Williams did. That's all I got to say. Where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter.
And she is Constance Carter. She's got a lot of great things there if you need to follow her, because like I said, I stalk everybody. So Athena, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
You can find me at wewealthwomen.com. Listen, ladies, if you do not want to be caught out here with a street urchin, you don't want to be caught out here with a dust bucket, you don't want to be caught out here with a dusty, you go and you sign up for the Goddess Guide to Money, which is a course I have right now, and I will have the AI business launch this weekend. So you can get your money up and become a boss like Wendy without the trash bag of a man like Kelvin. You can find me at Wewealth Women on all social media platforms and listen to me on the Wewealth Women podcast and everywhere you listen to podcasts, okay? Final word, say no to dust.
No to dust. Marlo, what is your I'm sorry. What is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
It's not a whole lot left for me to say, right? Because everybody has already said it. But I just want y'all to remember, do not be like Kevin, right? Be like Mr. Hunter. Do not take any L's. Kelvin, whatever your name is, sir. The people need to learn from you not to take L's, because that's what he's doing. He's not taking any L's. He wants all the money. I think choosing wisely and vetting your partner is important. Wendy obviously did not vet him. If the rumors are true and she wanted him for protection, that's what she got. Remember that what you put into the world is what you will get back. And if you don't like the things that are approaching you and are coming to you, you need to do some self-reflection to figure out how to correct that. And last but not least, stop looking at these celebrities as a lifeline or a guide for how to live. These are broken people who come into things sometimes by purely dumb luck. Sometimes it's through hard work and effort. But either way, they still put their pants on one leg at a time. They still got to deal with the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations of life that you do. They are not gold. They are probably cautionary tales if you really are paying attention and doing your homework, right? So be careful out here in this dating pool. Athena said got fleas. Watch who you marry. If you can protect your peace and marry after your prefrontal cortex. I did not do that, and hence I am divorced. All those things that everybody said are important. If you're looking for me, I write and create content in these streets under my name, Marlo Layson. You can Google me and find me dragging people in the state of Louisiana for filth. Or you can find me on Instagram. I am Olra Marlo. That is my name backward, forward, and a little underscore at the end for fun. That's it for me.
I love it. And I think you brought up some great points. And listen, here's my final words. Wilkie, I love you. I'm so glad I'm not in the same position as Wendy Williams. What we have together is strong, baby. And I'm going to stand right beside you to the end. Don't leave me, because I do not want to be the crazy dog lady down the street. I don't want no parts of this. If I ever lose you, I'm just going to be single by myself. And we did everything right. So I hope people see us and live by that example. And you can find me at bit.ly, Laura Key Info. Got a lot of free resources there for you. Ain't got no relationship advice there, but I do got a lot there that can help you protect your assets. All right, that's what I'm gonna say about that, because this has been a crazy day. Listen, we had a lot of fun, guys. We really do appreciate every last one of you that come to join us every day, throw in your comments, keep us on our toes. We do consider you as family. But today, we've seen how fame and fortune and success can disrupt even the most private areas of our lives, our relationships. Whether it's Wendy Williams' 48 million controversy, or the tragic case of John Amos, which we talked about yesterday, that has a family feud, it's clear that money can either be a tool or a weapon. The key is transparency, trust, and understanding that wealth doesn't buy happiness or peace of mind. Thank you for joining us on Fly Nubian Money today, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. And make sure that you join us on Monday, because we'll be back at 1 p.m. And be sure to text the word Queens to 87948 to get our updates when we go live. And don't forget to catch us on Spotify. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay informed. Go use everybody's resources right here. And keep mastering your mindset and maximizing your money. Be blessed, y'all. Peace out.